One Piece chapter 966 is slated to drop really soon, and today, guys, I'm here to talk about Marco versus Shanks and my predictions for the upcoming chapter. Now we've got that out of the way. I'm really hyped for this chapter. Now, chapters where I think could be really legendary and really epic, I will make prediction videos about, but this will not be a regular thing. We know in chapter 965, we ended off with Roger in that beautiful spread with Rayleigh and the rest of the Roger pirates, obviously not all of them, but the more prominent ones. We know that Whitebeard has landed on the same island. Gold Roger is prepared to go all out. This will be the first time the Roger pirates are seeing Odin. I expect a lot of fireworks. So this video, I'm just gonna break down what I think happens and lay out a bunch of different scenarios. First off, the most prominent matchup, Whitebeard versus Roger. But there's a few things that I noticed when I was rewatching some One Piece episodes and some One Piece clips. And one thing is that Whitebeard, when he was older, he had 2 or 3 noticeable scars. But when he was talking to Gold Roger in what seems like their final discussion, he only had 1 noticeable scar. I don't think Whitebeard and Roger fought after this moment, so Whitebeard's scars or 2 of the other scars, he got them from someone else. This matchup is always heavily debated because Roger has the title of Pirate King, which means he achieved more than any other pirate in his era or ever, while Whitebeard has the world's strongest title, which is a feat that is achieved through great strength. But that doesn't mean Roger is weak. I've gone on record before saying I think Whitebeard was stronger than Roger, but honestly it could go either way. I think this next chapter probably provides a definitive conclusion. Actually, it doesn't at all. It makes things even more confusing because I don't think Oda would ever show Roger in a bad light. But then with the hype placed on Whitebeard, especially a younger prime Whitebeard, you can't have him look bad either. But at some point, Whitebeard had to get this scar from Roger, or was Whitebeard talking about someone else? Something that's always mentioned with the lurking legend is that, hey, this person will be Luffy's greatest enemy, but they also mentioned that the lurking legend has something to do with Whitebeard. That means it can't be Imsama. Could it be a former member of the Rocks Pirates? What I mean is there's a missing character here. There's a chapter in which it shows the Rocks Pirates that went on to be prominent characters. We notice a few of them, but there's one character that we don't notice at all. Who is this character? Was that the man that gave Whitebeard his scars? If Roger does not scar Whitebeard in this matchup, is this other character the person that gave him his scars? What I'm referring to is when he was talking to Shanks, when Shanks came to warn Ace about Blackbeard, he said to Shanks his scars still ache him whenever he sees Shanks' face. The only person we can think of is Roger because Shanks was on Roger's ship and they met a lot. That's the only conclusion we can come to. If it wasn't Roger, then this lurking legend or whomever that might be, we gotta start looking out for because he might be really powerful. Another cool observation that I saw in regards to Roger and Whitebeard is the inclination that Whitebeard was fighting Roger when he was sick, meaning Roger was not at full strength, meaning Whitebeard gained the title of world's strongest man while Roger was sick, which basically means Whitebeard did not deserve his title. If we're gonna question Whitebeard's title, then we have to start questioning every title in One Piece. An argument someone made before was that titles are arbitrary and that they're not official because no one really designates the Yonko, but the Gorosei seems to handle that, but it's not like an official stamp where they're officials of the world government. However, who deems the world's strongest swordsman? Are we saying Mihawk's title is illegitimate? Oda even came out and said that Mihawk's title is legit. The point of all this though is that when I went back and I looked at the Battle of the Ed War, when you look at that in the anime, Buggy says Roger should not be fighting. Isn't he sick? And Crocus says nope, he's at 100%, he's in perfect health. And this was 27 years ago. We're currently at 26 years ago, so this was before where we are right now. So I think Crocus and whatever he was doing to Roger patched him up to full health, so when he was fighting, he was all systems go. The main issue that they stated with Roger was that he was going through and dealing with a lot of pain, and Crocus was there to basically help that and manage that. So while Roger, I think, was definitely sick and was going to die, I don't think we can illegitimize Whitebeard's title by saying Roger was sick, therefore Roger's the true world's strongest man, and Whitebeard just gained it because Roger wasn't 100%. That's cap. And no one's really going out of their way to illegitimize Whitebeard's title. There's a few people talking about it, but I understand where people are defending Roger as the greatest and strongest pirate of all time due to what he left behind. He was a trailblazer and the creator of this new pirate era, so therefore someone that great and accomplished would mean he did these things by being the strongest, right? But there's some holes in that because we know Roger never fought Big Mom, or based on what we know so far, Roger went into Big Mom's territory, took her poneglyph and got out of there. So I think there are holes on both sides. It's just that Roger, he defined an era. And I think Whitebeard did the same, but I know you guys don't want to hear this, but there's some truth to what Akainu was saying, but we'll cover that in another video. The next is Rayleigh and Odin. Now I've debated this as well, and I think Rayleigh at this point is slightly stronger than Odin. For me, I think Rayleigh has more experience. He has has been traveling the world with Roger, one of the most prominent pirates of his era, and the leading candidate for most likely to be the world's strongest swordsman back then. Granted, that could have been Odin, but at this point, I think Rayleigh, well, at the point that they're going to fight 26 years ago, I think Rayleigh is stronger than Odin. I rationalize this again through Rayleigh's experience, and I think Rayleigh would be a bit more technical than Odin, but in Odin's case, I think Odin has more overwhelming strength, and he has two powerful swords. So that matchup is something to look forward to as well. The next matchup is not as anticipated, and this is with Jozu and Vista, probably versus Scopper and Crocus, or Scopper and someone else. There was another person in the chapter, and we assumed it could be Douglas Bullet, but it was a small section. It was towards the left of the page, but we're not sure. But if Bullet is in this battle as well, he would fight a 14-year-old Jozu, or is he 16 now? Regardless, he's really young. I believe he's 14 at this point. And I think Vista would fight someone like Scopper. Another crazy matchup people are looking forward to is Shanks versus Blackbeard. I've said this before, but I don't think Blackbeard was on the crew as yet. Based on how they portrayed it, it seems like Odin was just talking about people joining Whitebeard's crew. So then Oda decided to show the most prominent person that's not yet on the crew in Blackbeard. Granted, I could be wrong and he could be in the crew next chapter, but if Blackbeard is in the chapter, it would make sense for him and Shanks to have their matchup now. If he isn't in the chapter, the person Shanks would be fighting is Marco. And then we have to consider whether or not they joined the battle. One thing that was stated when Whitebeard landed in Wano is that Marco was not allowed to go with them because he was still an apprentice. This is now years later. Marco is stronger, better use of his devil fruit. I would assume he would be part of the action. And we saw with Roger, he had Shanks really in the action where Shanks was standing on a marine while eating chocolate. So we might see Marco versus Shanks. Now here's the thing with Marco versus Shanks. If this is indeed a thing, Shanks is one of the most disrespectful anime characters of all time. Coming on Whitebeard's ship, flexing his hockey, and then telling Marco, hey, you must be Marco the Phoenix, right? Knowing that you had a matchup with him in the past, the ultimate disrespect. Something that I was thinking about as well, does Whitebeard look at Marco a little funny when he sees Shanks? Because Shanks walked up on Whitebeard's ship, and Shanks, being the former apprentice of his former rival, that must tick Whitebeard off, looking at Marco saying, why didn't you grow up to be like this guy? And you know what? I don't mean to disrespect Marco because Marco is strong as well, very strong. But Shanks is a Yonko at this point, but Marco was a step away. All he had to do was beat Blackbeard with a graveyard crew, meaning missing a lot of the strongest crew members, but that's all he had to do and he would be a Yonko. But yeah, he failed. But anyway, if this is the case and Shanks does know Marco and he said that, oh my god, Shanks, you are such a damn troll. But back then it's hard to scale. If anything, we see a small matchup, a small back and forth between Marco and Shanks. Marco already has his devil fruit, Shanks has 2 arms. I'm really looking forward to that. So with this chapter, I think it could be legendary and epic, something like chapter 957. And I know a lot of people feel like this chapter could be off screen, and the reason why I think it could be shown is that Oda went out of his way to show Whitebeard's and Roger's bounties. He didn't have to do that when he showed the other Yonkos at all. So I think Oda might veer away from his typical formula of giving us just a clash or not showing it at all, and show us some panels of Whitebeard clashing with Roger, Odin clashing with Rayleigh, Marco and Shanks or Shanks and Blackbeard, Vista and Scopper, just showing us battles and how they went down back then. If you want to bump it up a notch, you could have some Marines show up to the island as well. One Piece is definitely winding down, and we're in the latter stages of the story. What better way to kick off the battle at Onigashima than showing some amazing clashes by some of the more prominent pirates of the past? I'm not sure if it's just me, but when I rewatch that scene or reread the scene when Shanks goes on Whitebeard's ship, I feel so much differently knowing the context of the past. Yeah, we knew Shanks was on Roger's crew. Yeah, we knew Marco was on Whitebeard's crew, but it wasn't clear when. It wasn't clear if they ever met, but Marco grew up with Whitebeard. Shanks grew up with Roger. And something else that's been killing me, Odin died 20 years ago, meaning 20 years from the current storyline, which is after the 2-year time skip. Whitebeard, Rayleigh, and Shanks all still alive. Why didn't these guys go up gang and storm Wano and decimate Kaido and his commanders? I know a lot of information doesn't get out of Wano, but you tell me that these Yonko and the right hand of the Pirate King had no idea what happened to Odin? The Marines know of his death, so these guys should know, right? Why would they not go and avenge their former crewmate? Maybe they have the same stance as Sabo, who said he's not mad at Blackbeard because Ace made his own decisions, and they're like, well, Odin wanted to handle it on his own, so whatever consequences he suffered, that's on Odin. Which is kind of crazy to me, because I would assume, like, say the Straw Hats break up, right? And then somehow Zoro dies defending something in Wano, and then another new Yonko, let's say Kid, occupies Wano. Or not Zoro, let's say Jinbei dies, right? Luffy's dead. Does Zoro and Sanji go help Jinbei? I know Sanji definitely doesn't because he cannot stand Jinbei, but would Zoro go defend him? Maybe not, because I know he'd definitely get lost, but something to think about. I'm not sure why they didn't go to Wano and take Kaido out. Like, that's your former crewmate. I don't get it at all. Maybe that gets explained in this flashback as well, but I'm super excited for this flashback. People might be saying, Brago, do not get your hopes up. It's not going to be what you think. Regardless, man, I can't help but be excited. The last 3 chapters of the flashback back have been absolutely flames. So much context, so much lore. One Piece is definitely on a roll, and this might be the final chapter of 2019. So I'm really going to appreciate this one. But guys, leave your thoughts. Leave your predictions below in regards to what happens in the chapter. I'm not sure if the spoilers are out. They might be. I don't know. I haven't heard or seen anything on Twitter or anywhere else, but I'm looking forward to an amazing chapter. But guys, leave your thoughts below. Again, like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much for the support. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce to stay updated. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace as well. Again, thank you so much for the support, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.